At first glance, the small town of Harrison in the American state of Arkansas seems completely peaceful. The town of 13,000 has several museums and plenty of green spaces, and the surrounding countryside is ideal for boating, hiking, and even exploring a mystical cave. However, the city actually hides a dark secret. Harrison is unofficially recognized as the most racist city in the world.
White power! White power!
We do not protect our race and protect our people. They're going to destroy. They're going to kill us.
So if you want to know what's really going on in Harrison, stay tuned here at Wise Fool. Harrison is actually an unremarkable little town off the beaten path, surrounded by forests, mountains, and rivers. But in the last century, Harrison has repeatedly become the theater of race riots in which Black residents have been severely discriminated against or even mistreated by whites. Although the same has happened in many other parts of America. So how did Harrison acquire this unusual reputation? The town only recently acquired this reputation when American filmmaker Rob Bliss dared to experiment in Harrison. He had heard about the town's inglorious history and the terrible things that were done to Black people there. To find out if that was really all in the past, or if the people of Harrison were still so racist, Rob Bliss simply stood on the side of the road with a sign that read "Black Lives Matter" and filmed the reactions of passers-by. While millions of people across the country did indeed show solidarity with the Black Lives Matter slogan, the reactions to the sign in Harrison were completely different, and the video immediately went viral. But see for yourself.
Have a little pride in the race, brother! What pride, what pride!
I want to say after dark, man.
I've had several old men come out here, look out the window and tell me, said, you better go tell that to get out of here.
Are you a Marxist?
Communist. Domestic terrorist.
You're white. Black lives.
The video hit the internet, and newspapers and TV stations across the country reported in horror that this small American town seems to be so xenophobic. But is Harrison really the most racist city in the world? Several YouTubers wanted to get to the bottom of this question and visited the town themselves. And their experiences were actually very interesting. Among other things, they had the following rather unusual encounters.
We're going to have white pride and we don't give what you say.
You know why? Because you don't belong in my city.
And Black people apparently love to shoot other Black people.
They have guns and they're not afraid to use them.
When a Black YouTuber visited Harrison and tried to strike up a conversation with the locals, the situation became really threatening. Initially, people warned him that, as a dark-skinned person, he unfortunately had to behave very carefully, and indeed, when he tried to display an "I love Black people" sign in front of a door a few houses away as part of a prank, not only was he rudely kicked off the property, but the resident of the house stripped his upper body and showed him a Ku Klux Klan tattoo. This showed that he was a member of the racist faction that had lynched countless Blacks in America in the past. The man then saluted with Hitler's salute as he left. Along with other members of the Klan, he then chased the YouTuber's fleeing car and tried to scare him. In addition to aggressive racism, visitors also repeatedly experienced bizarre encounters in which they simply felt uncomfortable due to the locals' behavior. Like this Asian YouTuber, who was probably seen by this woman as a strange kind of person.
Quiero abrazarte. Esto, me gusta este.
¿Quieres este producto?
Mi nieta tiene 26 años y quiere ir a China. Quiere llevar a su chino. De todos modos, le encantan los chinos.
Another man told a YouTuber that he thinks it's bad when people of different races are together, explaining that children of mixed ethnicities will always be sick. But in reality, and this will surprise you, there are actually people in the city who are completely different from what you would expect. Not only are they not racist, but they campaign against their city's bad reputation. They even organize regular demonstrations against residents who behave in a racist manner. This incident shows how much some residents are affected by the tragic reputation of their town. When a dark-skinned YouTuber was standing in front of a large billboard for the racist White Pride radio station at the entrance to the city, One resident even stopped to personally apologize to him for her fellow citizens. With tears in her eyes, she made it clear that not all people in Harrison share these racist views, and that the majority have a big heart for people of all skin colors.
Oh no, you don't have to apologize. It's okay.
No, it's not. But it's not okay. I just want you to know I love you all.
Love.
There is nothing that should ever bring us apart.
As you can see, not everyone in the town of 13,000 is racist. In fact, most of the YouTubers who visited Harrison had a hard time finding anyone who behaved in a racist manner. But does this mean that Harrison carries that title entirely incorrectly, or is there more to it than that? Unfortunately, the reputation as the most far-right city in the world is not entirely unjustified. Harrison is also home to the man you see here. This is Thomas Robb, pastor of a far-right church and, more importantly, national director of the Ku Klux Klan. In other words, the leader of all the local branches of the entire racist movement in the US. In this role, he spreads pure hatred against all foreigners, blacks, homosexuals, and Jews, and organizes events in which he incites his followers to commit the worst crimes with the aim of making the white race the sole dominant race. Although the organization is far less active than it was in the last century, it is still as vibrant in Harrison as ever.
My white brothers and sisters, you are a race of warriors and a race of conquerors.
The leader, Thomas Robb himself, does not live in Harrison, but in Zinc, a small town of just 90 people in the middle of nowhere, which is in close proximity to Harrison. Because it's only 20 minutes from Harrison, and no one knows Zinc anyway, Harrison is always mentioned in reports when it comes to the tiny settlement where the Ku Klux Klan leader lives. As perhaps the most powerful and extreme racist in the country, he is largely responsible for Harrison's bad reputation. And of course, he has many supporters in town who make sure that activists and darker-skinned people can't feel safe there. At times, there are also open threats of vandalism, such as this woman who had placed a flag on her property as a warning. Tiny Zinc is home not only to Thomas Robb, but also to many of his most radical supporters. And you can't really get more racist than these people. The settlement is not only considered the headquarters of the Ku Klux Klan, but there's even a training camp there for the self-proclaimed Soldiers of the Cross, where racists from all over the country are trained in Klan ideology. Members and candidates are trained there. Strangely, however, members of the organization are very open and even regularly give interviews to YouTubers in which they explain their views. In order not to damage their organization, they even allow dark-skinned YouTubers to interview them and present themselves as moderates by making jokes or compliments. They even respond very carefully and almost respectfully to questions about their attitudes towards darker-skinned people.
I mean, I prefer being around white people. I'm sorry, that's the way it is, you know?
No, but like I'm like a supporter of you, so including me, like you prefer being around white people.
I'll be your friend, but you're not gonna come over to my house for a barbecue.
Oh, you wouldn't invite me?
No.
Oh, fair enough, yeah.
Even though Klan supporters present themselves as moderate as possible in interviews, the facts speak a different language. The organization's goal is still the extermination of people of a different skin color or sexual orientation. As such, they have even been designated as a terrorist organization by the government, and all of their high-ranking members are under surveillance by state security authorities. But as you have seen, the KKK's power is limited to a small part of the region, while Harrison is a relatively peaceful place without much hatred. That was our video on possibly the most racist city in the world. Bye and see you next time.